Hello, BookTube. I have a little more mail for you today on a rainy, raw, dark day here in Boston. And the first item that I got in the mail is not a book. And it also is not expected. I wasn't expecting to find it. And it's from my old friend Deb, I know, those of you who remember her few videos on this channel like her more than you like me. I know, I realize that. She's far more popular on this channel than I am. And I've been trying forever to get her to come back and make some more videos. But if I couldn't do that under ordinary circumstances, I certainly am not going to do that now when I don't want her traveling across town. I don't want her out and about if she doesn't have to be. But she's been occupying herself at home, as we all are, and she made me a bookmark. She did. I don't know what this is. You craft people will know what this is. Is it cross stitching or stitching of some kind? But she made me a Tudor bookmark. There is Henry VIII and the Tudor Rose, and I'm assuming that uh, female figure on the bottom is supposed to be Catherine Parr, but it could stand in for almost any. There's only one of Henry's wives that didn't dress that way on state occasions, so uh, I think that's fantastic. I'm going to use this definitely, and I know just what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to put it in my hardcover copy of Francis Hackett's biography of Henry VIII because I'm planning on a reread of that book. And now I have the perfect bookmark for it. So that was the first thing. But then there are 3 packages here. So let's just go through these and see what we can find. They're all very damp. The packages are all very soggy. The mail driver dropped them off, but did not tell me. Did not ring the bell or anything, or knock on the door or windows or anything. So I didn't know they were out there, and it's a soaking wet day. So what do we got here? Okay, this is a collection of stories by Christopher Koch called You Would Have Told Me Not To. Very nice cover. Very good. Nice and simple. This comes out in late July from Delphinium Books. It contains stories and one novella that arrive in the midst of the hashtag #MeToo movement. But they don't, do they? They don't. They don't. I know you couldn't have known that when you wrote this pub sheet, but they don't arrive in the middle of that. They arrive in a different era completely. They examine the fallout from failed relationships between men and women, relationships that have crumbled under the weight of betrayal, misplaced hopes, illness, and, in particular, from masculinity at its most toxic and misguided. One tells the tale of a man in his mid-30s who receives a call from a woman he barely knew who had informed him that a girl he bedded and dumped in high school has died of cancer. Another man who had an affair and left a woman without any warning finds himself working on a demolition job with a younger man who might be their son. Another man, obese for years, is left by his wife, loses weight, and, drunk with the power of finally being fit, disastrously tries to reconnect with his former spouse. And in the title story of the collection, a woman summoned to the bedside of her son who has suffered a gunshot wound that must finally come to terms with the serial infidelities of her charming ex-husband. These fictions ask very contemporary questions. How do ex-spouses learn to live again in proximity to one another? How do we make peace with our bodies and our own worst impulses? How do we learn to turn and face full-on the worst mistakes of our younger selves? Okay. And the author is the author of You Came Back in 2012, a story collection called We're in Trouble in 2005, winner of a number of awards, and who has appeared in a number of anthologies and literary journals and whatnot. He's a native of Indiana, received his MFA in fiction from Ohio State University. He is an associate professor of English at the University of Nevada, where he directs the MFA program in creative writing. Okay, fantastic. Well, this comes out in late July, so I don't have to concentrate on it right away. But the one thing that I will be looking for in this book, and if it isn't there, then I'm going to drop it like a hot brick. I'm sorry I'm sure this took a lot of work to make, and it's a lovely design. But what did we say? How do we make peace with our bodies and our own worst impulses? That line, I'm sure, accurately reflects the theme running through these stories. And the thing that I'll be looking for is to see whether or not the worst impulses are restricted to one gender. If all of the horrific acts, all of the worst impulses in these stories are all by men and women are by default completely without fault, then I don't want to read them. I'll read the book, of course, but I won't consider it anything more realistic than Tolkien. So we'll see. We'll see. The mania to we'll see whether or not this is a desire to tell stories or a mania to virtue signal. I've noticed that the virtue signaling urge can get just all-consumingly ridiculous. So that, well, you've seen it already. You've seen it yourself. Adjunct to the hashtag #MeToo movement is believe the women who are accusing people of crimes. Well, that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. You can be inclined to believe them, but you can't say, no, if you say it, you're right. You're telling the truth. And you especially can't have that filter into the legal system. So we shall see. We shall see. If all of the women in this story in these stories don't have any baser impulses, don't have any negative impulses, then this is just some kind of propaganda, some kind of program but it has nothing to do with the stories. Aren't any longer designed to reflect the world in which we all live. We shall see. We'll see what it's going to be like in late July. But in the meantime, let's go to these last two are cardboard. Let's see what this first one is. Oh wow. Okay. All right. This is a finished copy of wow. This is also a fad. This is a little trend in publishing. I'm noticing. This is the third, or is it the fourth book that I've got that's like this? This is the inside story of, or the history of, a social media platform. In this case, it's Instagram. It's by Sarah Fryer, and it's No Filter. The inside story of Instagram. The never-before-told story of how Instagram became the defining app of our time. Is this true? Do you have an Instagram? I do. I list it in every video. Feel free to come along. It's mostly just pictures of books and dogs. Let's see here. Oh, this got a good review from Kirkus. That's good. Let's see here. Tech news reporter Sarah Fryer in No Filter, which comes out in mid-April, tells the story of Instagram is an overwhelming lesson in how the decisions inside the social media company about what users listen to, which products to build, and how to measure success can dramatically impact the way we live and who is rewarded in our economy. Certainly the people who have crafted the word impact as a verb are always rewarded, never scorned, as they should be. The author first gained unprecedented exclusive access to Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, the co-founders of Instagram. She also spent more than 200 hours interviewing current and former employees at Instagram and its owner Facebook, as well as investors and sources of competition, like Twitter and Snapchat, to show how this one app has altered the way we shop, eat, travel, and communicate. I often wonder if my use of Twitter is very limited. I don't think I've added a channel in forever. And I don't think I look around on Instagram to see the full variety of what's out there. Are there Instagram blogs? Are there things that are daily content? I should look around and see. Let's see here. Where did I stop? No Filter also features cameo appearances by people whose lives were changed by Instagram, including influencers from fashionistas with millions of followers to owners of famous dogs worldwide. Frida's not famous, but she is a large part of my Instagram. And interviews with celebrity influencers Kris Jenner, Ashton Kutcher, Aaron Foster, Ann Wintour, and more. In addition, the author provides exclusive behind-the-scenes details about Instagram's dealings with celebrities such as Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, Kylie Jenner, and Miley Cyrus. Okay, so we saw a book like this, An Internet for the People, about Craigslist. We saw a big book on Facebook. Was there one on YouTube? Don't I remember there being one on YouTube? Not this year, but last year? Well, anyway, this is fascinating. So the main point of the pub sheet here is that she's done the groundwork. She isn't just Googling stuff. That's right. There was a book on Google. There have been many books on Google. Instead, she's gone and interviewed people. So this will be fascinating, and it is right around the corner. Great, and it's a little prompt to me to look at Instagram a little more closely than I do. I think I get complacent about it. I should look and see what there might be. I mean, for instance, if you're on Instagram, feel free to sound off in the comments about what you like. What are your favorite places to go? But anyway, then we have this last one, and then we'll be done. And it is, it is really, really stuck in here. So it's not going anywhere. Okay, this is a novel. It's a finished copy, so it's probably out soon. Yeah, also mid-April. Okay, all right, great. All right, don't need any of that. This is by Brooke Fossey, and it's called The Big Finish. That's the thing. I suspect that will telegraph the plot of the book. Oh, this is a debut. Fantastic. This is a debut coming out in mid-April. Debut author Brooke Fossey delivers an uplifting and emotionally powerful novel about an unlikely friendship between a curmudgeonly old man and a desperate young woman who stumble into each other's lives, literally, right when they both need it the most. The book is hilarious and touching, an unflinching look at growing old, starting over, and finding love as told by a wisecracking old man who didn't see any of it coming. For Duffy Sinclair, life boils down to one simple thing: maintaining his residence at the idyllic Centennial Assisted Living. After the death of his brother decades ago turned him cold and drove him to drink, Duffy didn't care much about other people. But something about the residents and staff of Centennial, most importantly his straight-laced best friend and roommate Carl, has him making peace with his past and enjoying this last chapter that he's in. Duffy is not going to let anyone ruin his little slice of paradise. But his beloved life, as he knows it, is threatened when Josie climbs through their bedroom window one night barefoot with booze on her breath, a black eye, and claiming to be Carl's granddaughter. She asks to stay, and Carl, overjoyed by the prospect of having a family when he thought he had none, begs Duffy to let her... wait a minute. Oh, his roommate is Carl. Okay. Claiming to be Carl's granddaughter, and he begs Duffy to let her stay. Duffy knows that hiding Josie could risk them both getting evicted from their beloved Centennial, and he is heavily against it, skeptical of Josie and her intentions from the start. But his support for Carl is unwavering, and he gives in, and before he knows it, Duffy feels a kinship to the younger woman. Against his better judgment, Duffy finds himself risking everything he has left to save his newfound family and discover what it means to really live. Okay. All right. So this comes out in mid-April. I have to admit, on first blush, that sounds a bit formulaic, but that doesn't mean it can't be great. So this is our author. And let's see here. What is her story? She was once an aerospace engineer with top secret clearance before she traded it all for motherhood and writing. Oh my. She's a past president and honorary lifetime member of DFW Writers Workshop. Her work can be found in numerous publications, including Ruminate magazine. When she's not writing, you can find her in Dallas, Texas, with her husband, 4 kids, and their dog, Rufus. She still occasionally does math. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Well, The Big Finish. This is her debut novel. Isn't that wonderful? This comes out in mid-April. So we have 2 from mid-April and 1 from the end of the summer. With fiction, The Big Finish, this is Brooke Fossey's debut novel, and we have No Filter by Sarah Fryer. This is heavily journalistic account of the rise and nature of Instagram. And then we have You Would Have Told Me Not To, a collection of short stories and a novella by Christopher Koch. Also a debut, yes? Oh no, this isn't a debut, but this comes out in late July. So 2 fictions and 1 nonfiction. This is our mail haul, and then the highlight of the mail haul, which is a Tudor bookmark that I get to use. I get to put to use right away. So I'm going to wrap this up for now. I'll do the mail as long as I continue to get mail. So we'll wrap this up for now, but we'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.